student when she turns 18. He even gives her his dead wife's ring, and they stay together for 9 years until she divorces him. And at this point, she
Wow. Killed your wife for some illegal butt at that, just for you to go ahead and get divorced. You're sick. I will not lie to you. He is sick. Zach D. Phillips got so many sons. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not saying bro like is copy of Zach D. Phillips like those, because I don't know everything about bro content. But it's basically Zach D. Phillips. If Zach D. Phillips did straight like longer story content like those. So we're about to go ahead and get educated and see the story time aspect like those. We're gonna go ahead and look at these stories and.
This man stepped off a plane, not realizing the airport would become his home for the next 18 years. In 1988, an Iranian man landed at Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris. All he had to do was catch one more flight to England, and he'd meet his mother for the first time. But when he walked up to the gate and reached for his refugee papers, they were gone. Someone had stolen them at a train station before he even made it to the airport, and without them, they wouldn't let him board. He tried to explain, but it didn't matter. So he turned around and headed for the exit instead. But border controls...
Yo, that's one of my biggest fears, bro, to get your stolen at the airport, like your ID or your passport. What the f do you do?
Stopped him there too. No passport, no visa, no proof he existed.
Really?
He couldn't get on a plane, and he couldn't leave the building. So he sat down on a bench in Terminal 1 and figured he'd wait until someone sorted it out. But no one ever did. Days passed, then weeks, then months. And after a while, he started to smell so bad he had to wash himself in the airport bathrooms. He couldn't afford food, so he ate whatever strangers felt bad enough to buy him, usually McDonald's. He'd sleep on a red bench surrounded by his luggage, and every single day, thousands of people rushing to catch flights would walk right past him without even looking down. Over time, the airport staff stopped asking questions. They just accepted him, gave him the nickname Sir Alfred, and eventually, he just became part of the terminal, like a...
Yo, if I'm in the airport for that long, bro, yo, I'm walking through that butt naked. Yo, wait, why didn't you just do that? If you walk through it butt naked, then they have to technically take you out of the airport. Like, they can't trap me in the airport like that. I gotta go one different way. Maybe you'll get arrested, but at least you'll be outside the airport. Why didn't you just do that? That's not even like a joke. That's like a genuine like question. Why didn't you just do that?
8 number or a departure sign. And for 15 years, that's exactly what he was. Just another fixture in Terminal 1. Until one day, a man by the name of Steven Spielberg heard his story. He paid him $250,000 and turned his life into a movie called The Terminal, starring Tom Hanks. And suddenly, the whole world knew the name of the man on the bench. But even after that, he still didn't leave. France offered him residency. Belgium offered him residency. He refused to sign the papers both times because they listed him as Iranian, and that wasn't who he believed he was anymore.
Man, I'm not gonna lie, at that point I don't give a f. Bro, I've been at that airport so long, bro, I don't give a f if North Korea is gonna take me. But I guess maybe, you know, when you've been in there so long, it's easier said than done. But bro, yo, just pick one of them at that.
Then, in 2006, after 18 years on that bench, he got so sick that they had to carry him out of the airport on a stretcher. It was the first time he'd been outside in nearly 2 decades. But as soon as he felt better, he did something no one ever could have expected. He walked right back into Charles de Gaulle.
Well, I hear about some people in prison. Some people in prison have to stay in prison. They've been in that shit so long, they'll either commit a crime or walk right back in that.
Sat down in Terminal 2, and on November 12th, he had a heart attack and died. Right there, in the only place that had ever felt like home. His name was Mehran Karimi Nasseri.
That's actually really sad. I will not lie to you, right? But literally, whole life was ruined because it stole him. Right? Couldn't see nobody. I wonder if his family ever wondered where he was at, bro. Chad, if y'all was in this situation and somebody stole your papers out of the airport, like, and they're not letting you go through either side, what do you do? Like, what are y'all doing at that point? I think I would try to, like, maybe, like, call my family and see if, I don't know, they can, like, finesse some, like, some shit for me or something, bro. Like, call my family. It was the movie fire called The Embassy. Yeah, that's probably air out the airport. What do you think's gonna happen to you, bro? You air out the airport, bro.
The boy called his mom for a ride home, but when his sister answered, she told him their mom was already sleeping and just to walk home. But the next morning, when his mom checked his room, she screamed, immediately calling the police. He wasn't there and had never come home the night before. The police searched everywhere, but there was no sign of him. Weeks went by, and he never turned up. But 3 years later, his sister got a call from the police and literally dropped her phone. They told him they found her brother. He was alive, but out of all places, he was actually in Europe. She immediately booked the next flight out, but when she finally got to see him, something instantly looked off. He had been missing for 3 years, but now...
That dude look a little different, but bro, Gates veteran, bro. What the, bro? On all seriousness, it's still seriousness. Like those, hopefully bro's not good. I mean, hopefully bro's good, bro. Hopefully bro's good. Like those, don't laugh, bro, because it's gonna be like he was actually killed and revived, and his face was stolen. And he spent 3 years in an internment camp, and then it's gonna be like, yo, Blue Ride, yo, you dumb, for saying that. I'm not saying that boy in the actual story. It looks bad. I'm saying how they made him look right here. He looks bad.
Now he was older, thinner, and when she got closer, she noticed he had a completely different eye color. This seemed really strange, but he quickly explained to her that he was abducted that night by a human trafficking ring.
Okay.
They experimented on him, saying they injected his eyes with something that made them change colors. But while he spoke, his accent was different as well. He sounded French, but he told them he was forced to speak their language for years. This was all so insane to them. But he had the exact same tattoo. He knew things from their childhood only he could know, so they believed it was him, and they took him home with them. He was given a U.S. passport, enrolled in a local high school, but slowly his family noticed things seemed wrong. He didn't remember things he definitely should have. He was in 10th grade, but looked much older than a lot of the other kids. But every time they noticed something strange, they just...
This is going to turn into some really, like, creepy though, bro. Like, that knows certain things, but other things he just doesn't know. You could just like, put that down to him forgetting, but, like, bro, that's actually really creepy. You want to pull up and just kill all of them. Low-key, it's a name.
Hi, my name's Movies. How y'all doing?
There's movies here. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Him being taller than everybody in 10th grade, I'm not gonna lie, he's always going to be taller than everybody else, bro. This is definitely probably a grown man.
just passed it off as trauma from everything he went through. It seemed fine until they got a knock at the door, and the FBI asked her if they had noticed anything weird about his behavior. This made her furious. She screamed at them, saying it was him. She just knew she couldn't lose her son twice, but when they left, she couldn't stop thinking about it. Everything did seem off about him. So she told the FBI some things seemed different, but as they kept investigating, they couldn't believe what they actually found. They looked at his fingerprints, and when they matched his identity, it all made sense. He had been arrested in Europe and had been pretending to be missing children for years.
Pretending to be missing children?
So before they found out, he called American police and asked for photos of missing children. When he saw Nicholas, he pretended to be him. Their real son is still missing.
I'm not gonna lie, by the way, this is a sick, bro. So the dude looks better. I don't feel bad about it. For you to copy the tattoo to remember certain things about the past and stuff like that, yeah, you a freaky. Whole time the grown man, bro. That's actually very, very, very sad, bro. That's unfortunate. And your fit, and your path, and your eyebrows missing, bro. Well, regardless of the fact, though, yeah, you gotta get, bro. Like, he's too creepy to keep out.
In 2013,
the Tainted Blue Lock chapter.
Soccer fans decapitated a referee to prove a message.
What is soccer about, bro?
You see, when the referee gave a player a red card, the player got really upset and threw a punch. This made the referee grab a knife from his pocket and repeatedly stabbed the man. The player was rushed to the hospital but died from his injuries.
First of all, they stabbed the weekend and holy blue lock. Holy blue lock, bro.
It's that serious? When fans found out about his death on social media, chaos broke out. They invaded the field and beat him up to death before ripping his limbs from his body with just their strength. Then, they put his head on a stick in the middle of the field.
What the? Where did this happen at? Where did this happen? What the? This did actually happen? It said, somebody in the comments said, this is true and wild. Their name was referee Octavio Jardino de Silva and soccer player Josmir de Santos of Europe. So they stabbed him like that though, bruh? Because the bro was arguing over the red card? Yo, some people don't play about soccer. You really gotta be ready to die behind this. So when that said, have you ever played soccer with your life on the line? And it was like, No, some of that really done that. Blue Lock is a true story, but they really be playing soccer with their life on the line, right?
He would beat his wife, and she would never fight back. But one night he comes home drunk from the bar and takes it too far, doing something to her that we can't say. When he's done,
They are having the World Cup over here, bro. They're having the World Cup in Atlanta, bro. Or they're having, I don't know if it's all of it, but I think a part of it, they're doing a lot of construction over here because they're doing a part of the World Cup over here like that, though. Yo, Atlanta's actually going to be like a terror zone, bro, during those months, bro. It's going to be so crazy, though, bro. You won't be running throughout the street butt naked. You won't be wanting homeless, bro. Yo, I'm definitely going to IRL one of those days, though, bro, just to see what the going on outside, though, bro.
he comes home drunk from the bar and takes it too far, doing something to her that we can't say. When he's done, he passes out in the bed, and what she does next would be the worst and best thing that ever happened to him. She goes downstairs to the kitchen and sees a 12-inch knife on the counter. She grabs it. She walks back upstairs to the bedroom. He's still passed out, drunk, no idea what's about to happen. She pulls back the covers, grabs it, and cuts it off. He wakes up screaming. She jumps in
This is it, isn't it, Lord?
He deserved it. He deserved it. He deserved it. I will not lie to you, though, bro. Oh, bro.
She runs out of the
Martinic plot. Woman cuts man's meat off after getting assaulted.
grabs it and cuts it off. He wakes up screaming. She runs out of the room with it still in her hand. She jumps in her car and takes off.
It's still in
and
her
as
hand?
she is driving, she throws it out of the window. She shows up at her friend's house shaking. Her friend asks what happened. She tells her. Her friend calls the police. Now there's a group of officers standing in a field in the middle of the night with flashlights looking for it, while she's at the station telling them everything her husband did to her. The beatings, the choking, what he did to her that night. Meanwhile, his friend rushes him to the hospital,
Bro, really
and he's lying there, bleeding out, waiting for them to find it. They search for over an hour. Then one of the officers steps on it. They put it in a
Step on
hot
his
dog
knee?
box and rush it to the hospital. And after hearing everything she went through, they arrest her, charge her with malicious wounding, and she's facing 20 years in prison. Luckily, the jury finds her not guilty by reason of temporary insanity, and she doesn't see
You're the temporary insanity.
a single day in prison.
Hey, good
But
for her,
he walks
though, bro.
free too after beating her for years.
The thing is, bro, that's just the way the cookie crumble, though. Because should he be in jail? Yes. But you know what? He got no heat. He got no heat, bro. And even though he was beating women, bro, he won't be beating himself, man. That's for sure.
And becomes a celebrity after the doctors reattached it.
He was a celebrity after his knee got reattached? Oh, no, I'm not gonna lie. Somebody needs to slice it down. One more time. One more game. In GTA. This guy flew.
I flew across the country to meet his online girlfriend, but she took one look at him and wanted to break up with him on the spot. He's devastated because they dated online for a year, but they already...
You dated a girl online for a year, bro. You come to her and she's just like, ew. Yeah, bro. You gotta get your get back, bro. You gotta get your get back. Like, you gotta, I don't know, bro. You gotta do something, bro. On her and do something.
He made plans to go to a concert together with her friend, so they decide not to cancel. And the whole time she's distant, so they get into a fight, and she breaks up with him for real. Her parents drive everyone back to her mom's house, and he's supposed to stay a few more days before flying home. So now it's him, her friend, and her mom all in this house. And he's lying in bed, stewing, until something in him snaps. Around 3 a.m., he gets up and...
Gang, just go home. What the f*** you mean something in you snap? Gang, just go home, bro. Now you tripping, bro. He can't? Well, just, like, go somewhere, gang. If it's like this, bro, then and you can't stand being in the same place, bro, go somewhere.
Finds a hammer. He goes to the couch where her friend is sleeping and swings it down on her. Then
What?
he goes upstairs and does the same thing to her mom.
Turned into a serial killer, bro, because bro got broken up with?
Then he goes to her
For an e-girl?
room and does the same thing to her. And he just stays in the house with the bodies. A few days go by and no one notices, until her friend's mom calls the police because she hasn't heard from her daughter. So police show up to the house and knock on the door. He answers, but they don't see anything wrong,
What did the
and
friend
they don't
do? I don't
smell
even
anything.
know, bro.
So they leave. But her friend's mom still isn't satisfied, so she calls her dad and asks him to check on everyone. So her dad drives over and walks through the front door, and he kills the dad too with the same.
Bro literally threw his entire life away over some e-butt, bro. That's so sad, bro. I feel so bad for the entire family. The entire family got killed because frozen into the loop.
Hammer. He grabs the dad's car keys and drives to the airport. But on the way, he crashes into a ditch. A cop shows
And he
up
can't
and writes him
drive.
a ticket. But the cop doesn't know about the bodies yet, so he lets him go. A tow truck driver gives him a ride to the airport. He walks into the terminal, sits down, and waits for his flight home. He's about to get away with it, but police eventually go back to the house and smell the bodies. So they put out a search for him, and the cop who wrote him the ticket realizes it was him. So they rush to the airport and find him asleep in the terminal.
Weirdo, bro. Crazy. Why? These are real stories too. The human race is so interesting, bro. You really ready to throw your life over some e-girls, bro? You met her once in life. She wants to break up with you, which I don't know why she wanted to break up with you, bro. Maybe you was chopped, and by your actions, you probably were chopped, bro. So, you know, it's just challenge up to the game, bro. There's too many fish in the sea. The saying that there's a lot more fish in the sea, it's like, bro, there's so many people out here, bro. You're bound to find somebody. You don't have to crash out like this.
This woman was tortured for 19 years by the one person who was supposed to protect her. When Victoria Spry was 5 years old, she was placed into the foster care of a woman named Eunice Spry. From the very beginning, it was hell. Eunice would beat Victoria with sticks, with her fists.
People who literally go through the adoption system, adopt a kid, and then beat the kid. Like, nigga, they wanted to adopt somebody just to be there. That don't make no sense to me, but that's clear.
With whatever was nearby, she would force Victoria to eat her own vomit. If she threw up from the pain or the fear, Eunice would scoop it up and shove it back into her mouth. She forced her children to eat rat excrement. She rubbed her skin with sandpaper and steel wool until they bled. She stuck pins and needles into their bodies.
Like, you really gotta see what happened to these people in their childhood, bro, in order for them to be, like, doing this to children, bro. Like this, you really, like, I really gotta see what they soul look like, bro. We need a whole investigation on this.
She shoved sticks down Victoria's throat. She held her head underwater until she thought
Like,
she was
why,
going to
bro?
die. Then pulled her up, then did it again. Over the years, Eunice took in more foster children. 5
Evil movie story plot, bro. What that? And when all these kids crash out on you and like that, you'll be like, why would they do that? What were the signs? The signs are all here.
children total, and she hated all of them. And just to make sure they couldn't tell anyone what was going on, she pulled all of them out of school and told authorities she was homeschooling them, but they never actually learned anything. Their days were filled with pain, starvation, and boredom, but after a while, the abuse became so normal that the children stopped reacting the way Eunice wanted. So Eunice bought a remote farmhouse in the middle of nowhere. There, completely isolated from everyone, with no neighbors, no witnesses, and no one to hear them scream, she got worse. She would whip the soles of Victoria's feet. She made the children sleep in barns with no water and no electricity in winter. And
Bro, she's such a bitter, lonely woman, bro. Even so, no man wants to speak to her, bro. But it's like, this is why she's doing it.
Christopher, one of Victoria's brothers, was tied by his feet to the back of a van and dragged across a field. He
Yeah, she's sick. Like, she's genuinely sick. Like, a Viltrum might definitely run through her. The Marco and got you, bro. Like, that's the only way. Like, bro, jail's not even good enough, bro. Jail's not even good enough.
blacked out from the pain, and when he woke up bleeding, it kept going, and Eunice convinced him it was all Victoria's fault, which isolated her even more. It was the perfect plan for Eunice to hide her abuse, because if anyone ever drove past and saw dirty, exhausted children on a farm, it just looked like kids doing chores, and she went even further than that. She coached the children to fake symptoms of
Where did this work at, bro? What is her occupation? Does she go out ever? What does she do outside of torture kids? Come on, man. There's not enough time in the day. She has to do something else, surely, bro.
She coached the children to fake symptoms of autism. She trained them how to behave in front of doctors so they'd get diagnosed. And once they were diagnosed, they were put on medication they didn't actually need. For nearly 20 years, no one helped them. Until one day, when Victoria went to church with Eunice, one of the women saw the sandpaper marks all over her face and asked to speak with her privately. Victoria told her everything, and finally, the world started seeing Eunice for the monster that she really was. Eunice Spry was convicted in 2007 with 14 years in prison.
14 years? What the man? What the bro? I know who sell the boo-boos who got bigger years than 14 years. 14 years? 14 years, bro? The kids was tortured more than that. That's what she looks like, bro. Eunice Spry.
Wow, this is a real. Wow. But this is Victoria right here. This is Victoria. This is Eunice.
No soul, bro. No man, no husband, no love life. Just adopting and torturing kids for years and years and years, bro. Yo, I'm glad that Victoria's worked out. Sometimes like this happens, like it's just can never speak out. And then people die. Is she dead?
Is she? Since 2005 sentencing, is she dead though?
Oh, Victoria died by gaming day. Oh my god, bro. R.I.P. bro. R.I.P. Yeah, he's just evil, bro, for no reason. Just to be evil, bro.
A man is graduating high school, but on the day of his final exams, his alarm never rings, and he sleeps past. He thinks about what to do, and pressured by his parents to become a doctor, tells them the exams went well. A few months later, he
We in the Infinity Castle, he's doing 360 like
creates a fake acceptance letter and tells everyone he got into medical school. Nobody ever checks. He spends the next 12 years of his life walking into medical school lectures and studying carefully, learning enough to talk about the classes with his parents. But he never takes a single test. When his classmates ask why they never see him at the exams, he tells them he's taking them at a different location. Eventually, he tells his family he's graduated and gotten a job at the World Health Organization, not as a surgeon or a doctor, but a researcher. He has no patients to visit, no scrubs to wear, and no operating room to be seen in. The lie is easier to maintain. His office is also...
Bro, it's crazy because look, we've all lied before, right? If you lie, just get that up, bro. Because some people keep with the lie for so long, bro, and are so good at maintaining that lie that it'll create a bigger lie that doesn't even make sense in like those. Like, yeah, I killed it once, knowing that you didn't kill him. Now you gotta go hit a lick with a named Bubba, and now you actually gotta go kill him. And instead of being like, yo, I never killed nobody, I never done none of that, I lied, you'll actually go ahead and kill somebody. Like, because you don't want to get caught lying. Like, Legend of Lark, it's the biggest LARP of all time, though, bro. Just tell the truth, bro.
His office is also across the Swiss border, so his wife can't just drop by. Every morning for the next 18 years, he kisses her goodbye, drives toward Geneva, but never arrives. He sits in parking lots, reading magazines, wanders through forests, quietly steals money from his parents to make it look like he has income.
Now, this might be a bum. I'm not gonna lie to you, though, bro. This might be a professional bum. This is the biggest LARP rep today, bro.
Then comes home at the end of the day like nothing happened. But then his wife starts getting suspicious. In 18 years, she has never met a single one of his colleagues. When she asks, he tells her the WHO keeps personal and professional lives separate. She asks to visit him at work, but he reminds her his office is in a restricted international building spouses can't access. When she asks what he's researching, he says it's classified pharmaceutical work and changes the subject. But then he makes a fatal mistake. He starts using his fake job to take money. He tells family and friends his WHO connections give him access to high return investments, and one by one, they hand over their savings. His parents give him their whole retirement. His father-in-law gives him his whole savings. His mistress gives him 900,000 francs. Never invests a penny and spends it on maintaining the image of being a successful doctor.
This is a evil. How do you maintain the lie for this long and haven't been caught? Insane pyramid scheme, and all this money's gonna go, and everybody's gonna look at it like, yo, what happened to the money though, bro? And he like, oh, I got in a doctor's one-on-one fight and lost, and they stole my. Like, bro will never tell the truth. This, when you ask him for the truth and nothing but the truth.
I'd rather die! Kid right there! I'd be if I fell.
Like, come on, bro. Just say it.
And spends it on maintaining the
All
image.
this after missing one exam, by the way. Like, bro, it literally was not that deep, bro. Now this too deep in.
Successful doctor. Unfortunately, his father-in-law eventually asks for his money back. The man tries to convince him otherwise, but the father-in-law won't stop asking. The man has no choice but to push him down the stairs and kill him. He gets...
What? Oh my god. Just tell the truth. This is killing people, bro. He is killing people. All of this, bro. All of this. Yo, I can't believe that these are real stories, bro. Literally rather die than lie, bro. He will literally, like, that's not even a meme, bro. He literally will, like, actually in his life, will tell the truth, bro.
The man has no choice but to push him down the stairs and kill him. He gets away with it, but the problems are piling up. His mistress soon wants her money back. His son becomes interested in medicine and asks to help him network, and his mother starts calling. Upset, the bank says their savings account is empty. On top of everything else, his wife sits him down one evening and grills him about their finances not reflecting a WHO salary. He escapes the conversation and goes to the bar, but then it happens. Someone at his children's school looks up his name in the directory of the World Health Organization, but his name isn't there.
I think somebody would have been this,
Word gets back to his wife immediately, confirming what she already suspected. And exactly 7 days later, the man's wife, both of his children, and both of his parents are found dead.
Just turned like, bro, this turned into a mass murderer, bro. Like, all because of this.
Anne is graduating high school, but on the day of his final exams, his alarm never rings.
And imagine if the alarm just rung, bro. Was it really this deep, bro? High school, not even college, this literally meant nothing. They literally did not have to do this, bro. Holy. Jean-Claude Armand is a French spree killer and imposter who pretended to be a medical doctor for the World Health Organization. That's real.
Usopp Prime, Usopp Syrup Village, Usopp in a lying competition would actually like make the world disappear, bro. The world would actually just explode on itself. He condemned to lifetime in prison for over 2 years. In 2022, definitely released with specific obligation. No? Wait, condemned to lifetime in prison. How did that make sense? Condemned to lifetime in prison. He became eligible for parole in 2015.
Appeals court just granted Ramon parole in 2019. He had been in prison for 26 years.
Parole? 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 You mean parole? Yo, like this won't come out and then lie again, bro. You can't, you literally cannot believe a word this says. How does he get parole?
France, that's how y'all come in, bro. They killed 6 people. They said he killed 5 to 6 people on him.
Lark being a good person. Yo, this is actually the craziest thing.
This man spent 16 years in prison for a crime he did not commit. It started when he was walking down the street and a woman approached him and accused him of doing something to her that I cannot say. He had never...
Yo, this is what I be talking. Women who do that need to like spend life in prison, bro. Like, and it's not even like he had an interaction with the woman. Sometimes I'd be scared to interact with women like that because any girl can lie on you, right? But this ain't even do nothing. Bro, Zach just walking. Like, he's just walking, and then motherfucker just looked at him and was like, yo, that did something to me. She don't know nothing about him. She has no reason to do it. She just doing it for the love of the game.
Never seen this woman before in his life, but police arrested him anyway. At a lineup, she looked at all the men standing there, and she did not pick him. She picked someone else, but instead of releasing him, police told her she made a mistake, so somehow he still ended up on trial.
Court system, bro. I cannot lie to you. She didn't even pick him out the lineup. And by the way, the fact that she didn't pick him out the lineup like that is crazy because this, I'm not saying this is how it went in real life, but she looked at the lineup and she picked the black girl. Like, there's no way they look similar. Now, I'm just gonna go and think in good faith and think that, like, they just made a character black to make it black. Like, maybe they look similar and like that, but to be honest, Shorty just lying.
Told her she made a mistake, so somehow he still ended up on trial. They brought in an expert who said hair from the crime scene matched his. She pointed at him in court. The jury believed her, and just like that, an innocent man was sentenced to up to 25 years in prison. So he tried to appeal.
Mind you, the last dude got 26 years in prison. Like that before he was eligible for parole. She's just gonna make that known. He killed 6 people.
But every single time, he got rejected. He was up for parole 5 times. But because he refused to admit to something he did not do, they denied him every single time. Wow. So he stayed locked up for 16 years. And when he finally got out, he still had to register as an offender. He could not get a real job. He could not build a real life. He met a woman who loved him and wanted to have kids with him. But he said no, because he would not put his children through the shame of having a father on that registry. So he never became a father. But it did not stop there, because the woman who accused him wrote a book about the attack, and it sold over 1 million copies. Then she wrote a novel, and it sold over 10 million copies. It got turned into a Hollywood movie. One of the actors got nominated for an Oscar. She became one of the most celebrated authors in America, and her version of events was the only version anyone had ever heard. Now Hollywood wanted to turn her first book into a movie too. They attached a famous actress and started production. And once that movie came out, his face would be the face of a monster. His guilt would be cemented forever. There was no coming back from that. But then
Bro was just walking. This was just walking, bro. Yo, there's no amount of forgiveness that this woman can ever give to me, bro. Like, you tarnished my name, called me an R-worder, bro. Put me in prison for a long time, ruined any relationships I had, made it so I couldn't have multiple kids, bro. Not only can I not forgive you though, bro, but let me not say the second part, but I ain't gonna catch you. How much a hitman cost?
And the producer started researching the case and noticed things were not adding up, like how she picked a different man in the lineup, like how the prosecutor lied to get her to change her identification. So the producer hired a private investigator, and everything they found, they turned over to new lawyers. These lawyers discovered the hair analysis had been discredited as junk science. They filed a motion, and after 40 years of fighting, a judge finally overturned the conviction. The woman posted an apology. The publisher pulled the book. The movie was dead, and he sued the state for taking 16 years of his life. They settled for $5.5 million. This man...
They have her name too, Alice Sebold, bro. How is she even allowed to even put out books, bro? She's a liar, bro. She's a liar, bro. It's talking about she's a New York Times best-selling. Put liar next to it, bro. Put yo, in fact, wrong, bro. Fix, man. Come on, man. Just, it's not that hard. Wikipedia, y'all all the time. It's not that hard. It's not that hard, bro. It's not that hard, bro. It's not that hard, man. Come on, bro. She should be arrested. She should be in jail for like life. I'm not gonna. I think she should be in jail for life. Is that crazy to say? Is that crazy to say that? And bro got $5.5 million for all those years he was in there. I guess that's cool.
This celebrity was every kid's childhood favorite, but behind closed doors, she hated her life. This woman was on one of the biggest kids' shows of all time. She was the one everyone liked more than the actual main character, but she never chose to be famous. Her mom was the one who forced her to be an actor, and she controlled everything. What she ate, what she wore, who she talked to. She would go through her diaries and make sure she wasn't saying anything negative about her. And if she was...
I just looked to the right in the comment chat. This is Jeanette McCurdy. This is Sam from iCarly. Like, she did write a book about her mother. Like, that was called like my... It was something like I'm glad my mother died or something like that. Right?
She would give her the silent treatment until she apologized and agreed to rip the pages out. It wasn't long before this character wanted to quit childhood fame, but her mom wouldn't let her because she was too addicted to the money. And when the character turned 11, her mom was scared that she'd start puberty and stop getting as many acting roles. So to prevent this, she gave her daughter an eating disorder. She'd praise her daughter whenever she was hungry, and every day she'd measure her body parts to make sure they weren't growing. And the whole time, the character she played on screen was known for one thing more than anything else: always eating. To the world, she was living every kid's dream, behind closed doors.
A lot of these child actors probably don't do the exact same thing, bro. That's actually tough. Like, especially we know that Dan Schneider now, though. Her life is actually crazy, though, bro. With her mother and then Dan Schneider being her producer, bro. Holy dynamic, terrible duo, bro. But a lot of children's stars probably do the same thing. That's why so many of them are like not in a good place, like Orlando Brown.
She was completely trapped, and when she finally tried to pull away from her mom, even just emotionally, her mom would sit on the edge of the bed and remind her famous daughter about her cancer diagnosis, about how she might not survive if her daughter wasn't earning enough money to afford her chemotherapy. Her daughter learned to just go numb and let life happen to her. By the time she was a teenager, She started drinking in secret, and the whole time, no one noticed, because the more she was falling apart, the more successful she looked, and it didn't stop when she went to work. On set, she was treated like a product, not a kid. There was a powerful adult everyone was scared of, someone who crossed boundaries, made inappropriate jokes, and put her in situations.
Snyder put his actual body in there, make him big as, make him like 500 pounds. Like, you know, he's a foot fella.
That made her deeply uncomfortable. She never felt safe speaking up, because when you're a child star, everyone's paycheck depends on you staying quiet. At one point, the network even offered her hundreds of thousands of dollars to never talk about what they did to her. She refused, but she still carried it alone. When her mother died of cancer, people expected her to fall apart, but she didn't grieve the way anyone expected. Instead, she disappeared from Hollywood, and years later, she came back with a book. She gave it a title that stopped the internet called "I'm Glad My Mom Died."
She's an amazing actor too, though, right? It sucks that she just kind of disappeared after the fact, but you know, in this situation and then Dan Schneider, you could really understand why.
Because for the first time since she was a child, she was free. This was the story of Jennette McCurdy, and the character you grew up watching was Sam Puckett from iCarly.
That is really, really crazy. I'm not gonna lie, bro. And parents are like that. A lot of parents, unfortunately, have failed in their lives, have not gotten to do everything in their lives because of one reason or another, so they reflect that on their kids. That's why so many parents be like, yo, you gotta be a doctor, or you must be this, or you have to do this, or you gotta do this, or you gotta carry on the family business of doing this. Some of them, like, usually foreign parents just want you to be like a doctor or something because that's what pays the most money, and they just want you to make money. But then you got other parents who, like, really just kind of are reflecting on you. And then that also makes you hate your life and them. It sucks.
This man killed his wife so he could be with his student, and he almost got away with it. The man saw this girl across the hall and instantly fell in love with her. But she's only 16 while he's 31. But since he doesn't care, he starts leaving love notes in her bag. He asks her out on dates. He even asks her to babysit his kids just so he can see her. And eventually, kids just so he can see her. And eventually,
Yo, look at this, bro.
kids just so he can
Look at
see
this.
her.
What do you do at 3 a.m. when you just see this staring at you, just staring into your soul, though, where he don't want what you got, he don't want your money, he want you. That's the face that he making at you. Freaky, bro. Get this the f out of here.
And eventually, they start dating in secret, and he will go to great lengths to be with her, because when she starts having problems at home, he asks her to move in as a live-in babysitter, but he's already married, so when his wife figures out what's going on, she kicks the student out, and then they start fighting a lot, until he grows tired of arguing with her and takes her to the coast and kills her. Then he goes home and makes up this story that she ran.
You would definitely commit a crime in order to commit another crime, in order to get a kid, bro. And you already have kids. Like,
Then he goes home and makes up this story that she ran off and joined a cult, and the very next day, he moves the student back in, but his wife's family starts asking questions because they know she would never abandon her kids. So after 6 weeks, he has to report her missing, but police believe his cult story, and nothing happens. So 2 years...
your wife is missing for 6 weeks, and the husband never reports it until he has to report it, like that. And the husband says, yeah, she's in the cult. And the police looked at that like, yeah, okay, bet. You know what? I believe it. That sounds realistic to me. That don't even sound like it makes like an inkling of sense.
Years go by, and he marries the student when she turns 18. He even gives her his dead wife's ring, and they stay together for 9 years until she divorces him. And at this point, she knows...
Wow. Killed your wife for some illegal butt at that, just for you to go ahead and get divorced. And what you probably gonna do? You probably gonna kill the student too, right? You're sick. I will not lie to you. He is sick.
She knows what kind of man he is, so she goes straight to the police and tells them he killed his wife. But they can't prove anything, so he walks free. And this keeps happening. Prosecutors call in witnesses. They offer rewards. They bring in a task force. But every time, they can't find enough evidence. Then 36 years later, a journalist makes a podcast about it.
36 years later, bro, was like just free for that long a time. He said that the girl was 16 originally, 2 years passed, he married her when she was 18. We don't know how much time passed when they divorced. Like the girl basically was like good for 40 years.
The case, it gets 30 million downloads, and suddenly people start calling in with new information. So the police finally have enough evidence to charge him, and he's found guilty.
We're gonna go ahead and leave it right there though, bro. Very interesting story though, very interesting story. I actually enjoyed that page, bro. Like even though it's kind of like a Zach Efield's like style, like that, like it's different. Like it tells like whole stories, and so we definitely will go back into that page for sure though. But anyways though, we're gonna put this on the main channel. If you are watching this on the main channel, Twister Ride in the description. Let me know if y'all rocking with this page right down below, bro. But yeah, I do think. Alright.
Put this bitch back like I'm double heaven. Hold up, triple deuces. Put that bitch up, we got all the juices.